This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Friday, the 14th of March. I'm Michael Groff. Active weather across the area yesterday. We saw showers, thunderstorms, even a brief severe thunderstorm out there toward Mesa and the Far East Valley. Now today, it's a chilly day out there. Lots of clouds around. Temperatures are well below average. It feels more like December than it does March. And we even have a chance at showers this afternoon and tonight, but then things are going to dry out and begin to warm up. It is March after all. It'll feel more like spring around here eventually. Now, the other thing we're going to focus on is a high-impact, dangerous, severe weather event across the Plain States and the Southeast from this afternoon, continuing through tomorrow and into the day on Sunday. And we'll outline all the risks from that and so much more. There's been a lot of hype about it. How much of that is reality? We will figure it all out. Now, before we do any of that, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and our videos that you guys have submitted, and boy, do we have a lot to get to there. First up, David Parnell. That's the guy that took this picture. Last Saturday was the time in that place, Veterans Memorial Coliseum. It's the State 5A, I believe 5A or 6A basketball championships, or just all across the state, whatever the case. It was he was out there. Wherever he goes, David takes those pictures, and we really do appreciate it. Then Clayton is up north. He's up at Camp Verde and Flagstaff, and then down to Scottsdale. And again, really appreciate all those nice shots. But this one right here, well, this is from the Japanese gardens over there in Phoenix. And I show this one. I know Michelle really loves to go there, and it is a beautiful time of the year to check that place out right there in Central Phoenix. So if you can, get over there. All right. And then Gary, he said he got a little bit of rain out there in the West Valley and just enough to make the garden kind of happy. So that's good news. This is from Jim looking north from Rio Verde, and there's some snow up the mountains there. So that's from Jim. This is from Joe taking a shot of the moon the other night. And of course, last night we had the lunar eclipse. It was a blood moon. And so Joseph got a couple of pictures of that. Love to see those shots. Miles Sampson in Southern California looking north and checking out the snow that's on the mountains there. And pretty soon we won't have that kind of a view. It'll start to get too warm. All that snow is going to melt. And, well, you know, we're heading towards summer. So, and then we have pictures from Steve up in Willow Creek. And they actually had some precipitation up there. Good news for them. And yeah, it was cold for sure. That's what happens up in northwest Arizona, but they had some rain, some snow, finally some precipitation. And so it's beautiful up there this time of the year, up on the northwest plateau of Arizona. And last but certainly not least, in the photo department here, we have Zane down in Brisbane, Australia. And Cyclone Alfred came through the area last week. We were talking about that. And Zane says it wasn't that big a deal where he was specifically, although they got plenty of rain, although other places certainly experienced some damage. And, well, Zane's dog, Johnny, he seemed bored by the whole thing, he says. So, and there you go. Always love to see the pictures of the pets. That'll always make it on these videos. And then we've got, speaking of videos, we've got some of those to show you. This is from Joe, who was doing a mural in Phoenix of a rainforest, but had to stop doing so yesterday because of rain. How about that? Weren't expecting that, were you? Well, there you go. And then we have this shot. This is from John up at he says from the 20th floor of the Sheraton. And yeah, you see a quick lightning strike there. And then, speaking of Zane, I'm going to show you this video. This is incredible. See if I can get this here. He put together a stop motion video. Well, Lego stop motion video, kind of inspired a little bit by us here. So let's roll that.
Morning.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for that, Zane. And I want to remind everybody that Zane, he is just 17 years old, and he put that together. Now, he is quite the weather enthusiast, but also he loves those stop-motion videos and Lego sets and all that stuff. And, I mean, talk about putting an array of talents together. That's incredible. So thank you, Zane. Really do appreciate that. Just a great story there. All right. Well, that's Photo Friday. If you've got any photos or videos you'd like to send in to us, groffshow@gmail.com. That is the address, email address, groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, let's do it. Let's get to it. The almanac from yesterday. There it is, 75 degrees the afternoon high, 51 the morning low. We picked up 1/1600ths of an inch of rain officially in the bucket at Sky Harbor. I know some of you had more than that. And so far for the month, we're looking pretty good, almost 3/4 of an inch of rain. And I think we're going to add to that at least a little bit this afternoon and tonight. Outside now, here at about 2 o'clock, we've got clouds out there, quite a few clouds, in fact, and it is chilly. How about 55 degrees in the middle of the afternoon in March? Dew points at 34, humidity 44%, a calm wind for now, and the barometer is falling. As we check the radar, we do have some scattered showers, a pretty good area of rain that's off to the west of us, mostly light, but some embedded brief moderate rain and some snow to the north of us. So that's going to move on through here over the next few hours. And we'll have some opportunity for precipitation all through the evening and even the overnight hours as another short wave comes on through. Satellite picture. Now, we don't have our normal satellite view, so you're just going to have to settle for this particular image. But this kind of shows you what happened yesterday and what's happening now as this next system comes on in. And so this will be the last in the series of systems that kind of impact us. Yeah, there's going to be a trough that kind of clips the area early next week, but that shouldn't have much in terms of meaningful impact on our weather here in the Southwest. The watch warning map. Okay, here we go. We've got wind advisories aplenty across the Plain States and the lee of the Rockies, and high wind warnings as well over West Texas and some of the adjacent areas. Obviously, low humidity, windy conditions, dry surfaces. The conditions are set for wildfires, really from the Rio Grande all the way up into the Dakotas. And then you've got wind advisories that extend east all the way into the Midwest, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. And, you know, that's all because of this major area of low pressure that's rapidly deepening out across the Plain States. And so that is one byproduct of that. The other is the risk of severe storms. Here's the convective outlook for today. The moderate risk of severe storms, level 4 out of 5, includes places like Memphis, Springfield, Champaign, Illinois, St. Louis, and Des Moines, Iowa. Anywhere in that red area. Now, all modes of severe weather are going to be possible, and we could see a few violent tornadoes in that moderate, even in the enhanced risk area. But for today, I think the main threat from thunderstorms is going to be strong, damaging straight-line winds. This will be more of a linear event. Yes, there will be some supercells that develop as well. But today's event, I think, or this evening, will be more of a linear event. And that damaging straight-line wind, that's nothing to fool around with. That we'll see wind gusts 70, 80 miles an hour. And yes, a few tornadoes and large hail will be possible as well. And a few of those tornadoes that do develop, there's always the possibility that a couple of them could become long track tornadoes. Now, that is kind of round one of this severe weather, and that's going to push eastward. That'll be into parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee later tonight and tomorrow morning, and giving a risk of severe storms there. But round two, this is the pick to click here. This is tomorrow. This is the day 2 outlook, and we have the very rare high risk of severe storms. That purplish area there across Mississippi and Alabama, Hattiesburg, Columbus, Meridian, Starkville, eastward toward Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Demopolis, and that all across central Mississippi and Alabama. I mean, that's really the key in. Now, of course, we're surrounded by the moderate risk in that zone for basically the rest or most of the rest of Mississippi and Alabama. And again, all modes of severe weather will be possible, but in those areas, the biggest concern is going to be for the possibility of violent, long-track tornadoes. This is a particularly dangerous situation. And what do I always tell you guys here on these videos? I don't do hype. I never have, never will. But this is one of those times where to use the bold language is absolutely appropriate given the dangerous nature of this situation. In fact, I'm going to take me off of there for a second so you can see the tornado threat for tomorrow. This is the severe weather threat. Here's your tornado threat. And the chance of a tornado, this is the probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point, is basically 50-50 from central and east central Mississippi through much of central and even into parts of northern Alabama. And even outside of that, I mean, you've got a pretty good risk, up to a 30% chance of a tornado, even outside of that, for much of the rest of Mississippi and in parts of extreme southeast Louisiana, Alabama, and nosing into western Georgia. Outside of that, you still have a decent chance, a 10+% chance of a tornado. And the hatched area that you see on that map, that is the possibility of significant tornadoes. And when we say significant tornadoes, that means EF2 or stronger. Now, there is no way to tell you exactly where a tornado is going to form right now, but just anywhere in that zone, you are going to need to be ready, prepared. So when you hear the warnings, be sure to go to a safe place. Interior room, lowest level. If you can get to a basement, great. Mobile homes, cars, absolute no-no. You want to get to a storm shelter wherever you can, and always have a means of getting those alerts. Your phone or a weather radio, those are the best ways to get the alerts. And look, these things happen. You know, high risks, they do happen occasionally. But whether you're in the moderate or the high risk or even the enhanced risk, understand weather doesn't follow colors on a map. Weather does what weather does. And, you know, you could, if you're in the slight risk zone and a tornado is coming through your neighborhood, well, that might as well be a high risk to you. So, you know, getting caught up in the categories of all this, it really doesn't matter if it's red, if it's purple, or if it's orange. You're just going to want to be on the alert for the possibility of severe weather in those areas tomorrow and into early Sunday. All right, here's closer to home, the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Friday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, generally about 1/10 of an inch. We could see a spot or two that gets a little bit more than that. Some of you will see less. This is not a particularly high-end event, but a pretty decent chance that rain's going to come through here this afternoon and tonight. We'll talk about that, plus that severe weather risk in more detail right now as we get to the models, have a look at things. The GFS, this is the 12Z run, and it's valid 5 o'clock this afternoon. All right, there's that trough that's going into the plain states, that low negative tilt. That's a very dynamic system. We have a short wave that's following through here in the southwest. And so what it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the afternoon today, how about it? Mostly cloudy with a slight chance of showers this afternoon. Better chance will come in by this evening. And temperatures, well, we're in the mid to upper 50s, and that's about as warm as it's going to get. And that is anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees below where we ought to be for this time of year. In fact, the average high for today, 77 degrees. Yeah, very likely 20 degrees below average. Don't see that in the month of March very often. Now, as we expand this map out and show you across the rest of the country, there's that deep surface low. And I mean, that thing is a vigorous, just whopper of a storm that is moving into Kansas and Nebraska this afternoon. And to the east and southeast of that in the warm sector, the possibility of strong and severe storms lines up really from Minnesota all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And that's going to begin to churn on to the east. Now, some isolated supercells are going to be possible ahead of the main line of storms, but this is primarily, let's say primarily, going to be a linear type of event. But that doesn't mean you still can't see strong tornadoes even in a line of storms. What it means is I think the greatest risk from storms today and tonight in those areas from Minnesota southward through Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and eastward into Illinois and western Tennessee, the biggest risk is going to be strong, damaging straight line winds and isolated tornadoes and some large hail. And look, straight line wind damage, whether your roof gets ripped off by a tornado or by straight line winds, does it really matter? So again, you need to be weather aware when you hear those severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, whatever. Take those seriously. All right. Obviously, if you're watching these videos, because we have people that watch our videos, not just from here in Phoenix and Arizona, but across the country. Look, if you're taking the time to watch these videos, pretty good chance you already know what I'm talking about. But we want to inform you. We want to let you know of the risks and everything that's going on. Now, this is tomorrow morning. This is 5 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. And we do have a chance of showers here in Phoenix overnight tonight with that short wave coming through. And those will linger into the early morning hours tomorrow. And overnight lows tonight will drop into the upper 30s, I'd say, in the coldest spots, mainly 40s elsewhere. And then tomorrow, the parent low is moving up into Canada. A secondary surface low develops over the southeast U.S., somewhere in northern Mississippi and moving into Tennessee. And out ahead of our main band of showers and thunderstorms, we're going to see a number of supercells develop. And let's key in on this risk, okay? For us in Phoenix tomorrow, we're good. Mostly sunny. By the afternoon, high temperatures are going to top out in the mid-60s. Should be a gorgeous day. But this severe weather risk, you don't see this all that often. Winds aloft are screaming. These are the 500 millibar winds. And, I mean, look, 70, 80, 90 knot winds in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And we're going to go through the parameters here. But everything is just set up beautifully. This is the HRRR, the simulated radar product across the southeast tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock Central Time. And you got some discrete supercells that are firing up there. The main line is still way back there over Arkansas and moving into West Tennessee and far west Mississippi by the afternoon hours. So there's plenty of time for supercells to fire up. And conditions do look favorable for that. This is 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, again off the HRRR. And, the radar may not look exactly like this, but you get the idea. This is how it's going to trend. That is how things look at this time. All right, in terms of the buoyancy of the atmosphere, in terms of the instability, this is the CAPE. That's convective available potential energy tomorrow in the southeast. And these numbers are huge. Look, this is March. I mean, you expect to see these numbers maybe in June and July. You got CAPE values exceeding 3,000 joules per kilogram across parts of Mississippi, southeast Louisiana, but even further east, 1 to 2,000 joules per kilogram. That's significant. It doesn't take a ton of CAPE, especially when you've got these winds aloft that are just screaming through the atmosphere. So this is all set up beautifully for a widespread severe weather event. And again, we earlier in the week, and I say to you, we never want to overhype things. There are times where we use specific language and we talk about things in a serious way, and there are times to be cautious about it. Well, this is a time where we really want to stress to you the dangers of this event that are coming up. How often do you hear me talk like that? Well, I don't generally. But this is a particularly dangerous situation tomorrow. All of the ingredients are there. We hope that it doesn't turn out this way. But, this is just everything is setting up. There is incredibly good consistency in the models. All the mesoscale features look like they are coming together for a significant severe weather event, a high impact severe weather event tomorrow in the southeast. All right, now this right here, this is the bulk shear. This is 0 to 6 kilometer shear, and these numbers are literally off the chart. We've got, the scale goes up to 110 knots. This is going off the chart. I believe the max on this is 125 knots. That's unbelievable. Now, sometimes you can have too much shear in the atmosphere. So, I know that some have talked about that. I don't think that's going to be, these storms will be highly sheared. They'll be moving at a really good clip, but that's why strong damaging winds are also going to be a concern. But I still think the tornado threat is very, very real here. Again, from extreme southeast Louisiana through Mississippi and Alabama through the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. This is the significant tornado parameter, the STP. This is a composite index. It takes into account a number of things, including helicity, cape, shear values, and really just puts everything together and kind of gives you an idea of the potential of significant tornadoes. And again, when we talk significant tornadoes, that means tornadoes EF2 and stronger. But on really any number that's over 2 units is a meaningful number. We've got values up over 10 units here, 10 to 15 units. These numbers are, again, off the chart. And as we shift further into the evening hours towards 6 o'clock tomorrow night, those numbers move east into Alabama. And again, 10 to 15 units. That's incredible. So it can't be overstated enough that all the ingredients are here. Now, that boundary, once that boundary goes through tomorrow evening across northwest Alabama and, it begins to shift east, once that happens, the threat is over. But there's going to be a window from late tonight through tomorrow in Arkansas, West Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Southeast Louisiana, North Florida, and into Georgia, where there is a very realistic possibility of strong, violent, long-track tornadoes. And yeah, there's also the threat of damaging straight-line wind and large hail, but the tornado threat is quite real. And to further highlight this is a forecast sounding coming from Tuscaloosa, Alabama tomorrow evening. And again, this sounding that, these numbers, all this data just suggests the ingredients are there. You got CAPE values, again, a couple thousand joules per kilogram. The energy helicity index is very high. The STP is high. The supercell composite is up over 20. All these numbers are crazy. You look at that hodograph. If you're going to draft a sounding that says, hey, tornadoes are possible, that's what this is. Now, this doesn't mean that there's going to be a tornado in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It means that the atmosphere, all the ingredients are there. It's like you're baking a cake, right? You've got all your ingredients set. Now, all it takes is for something to come along and put that cake in the oven and boom. You got a big old cake, a big old rising cake. That's what the atmosphere is. Just, it's set. All it takes is a trigger. That's why we have those loaded gun soundings, we call them. And you see the possible hazard type on the right, that is PDS tornado. That's a particularly dangerous situation. And again, this isn't hype. We're not speaking, we're not taking some, kind of meaningless data and blowing it up like a lot of these YouTube channels do. This is a real threat that exists tomorrow. And, we really hope that it doesn't materialize like this, but that is how it looks. Now, if you're a storm chaser, obviously this is going to be a great day for you, but I will say, I caution this, and, our friend Tyler is going to be down there. He's going to do some storm chasing, but I tell you this, storm chasing in the deep south is very, very difficult. I don't recommend it for inexperienced chasers. Look, the southeast, there's a lot of forests, a lot of trees, a lot of foothills, especially once you get into the Tennessee Valley. North Alabama, and up in Tennessee. And a lot of supercells in that part of the country are what we call HP supercells. They are high precipitation supercells. You're not going to see the tornado like you do out over the plain states, Kansas and Nebraska and Oklahoma. It's different. It is very difficult to chase storms down there. And, some of those back roads there in Mississippi and Alabama, they're narrow, they're windy. And you can get caught in a place that you don't want to be. And unfortunately, I hear about it happening a lot with storm chasers, amateur storm chasers. And so please, if you're going to be doing the storm chasing down there, I know it's tempting, but please be careful. I say that to anybody. And it's not to put anybody down. I want to see everybody come back alive, come back in one piece. So that's why, hey, we love our storm chasers, but we just want everybody to be safe. All right, now after this event is over, once we get to Sunday, now the southeast U.S. is pretty much in the clear, except for the East Coast, really from Tallahassee and Jacksonville, Florida, all the way northward, up toward Baltimore, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., even New York City. There's the threat for strong and maybe even some severe storms, although it does become much more of a linear event. And I think the risk for widespread tornadoes and all that is very minimal on Sunday. Some isolated tornadoes will be possible, but mainly the threat is going to be from strong, damaging straight-line winds, and that's what we want to emphasize with Sunday. I don't think the threat will be as meaningful then. All right, but for us in Phoenix, hey, Sunday's looking great too. Highs up in the 70s. The sky is mostly sunny. Going into next week, everything looks pretty good for us. Monday, highs close to 80. Sky partly cloudy. Now, we do have a trough that comes through here on Tuesday. Well, when I say comes through here, it mainly passes to the north of us. But there's an outside shot. We could see some showers across central and northern Arizona, maybe clipping northeast Maricopa County. But I think for us in Phoenix, right now, the preponderance of guidance says we're going to be dry, and high temperatures should still be a little bit cooler, but not bad. Generally upper 60s to about 70. Wednesday, highs, low 70s, maybe mid 70s. Thursday, again, mid 70s for the high, maybe upper 70s, looks beautiful. And a week from today, Friday the 21st, and a weak shortwave ridge looks to be over the southwest. That's dry for us, but look at what's happening over there in the east. Another trough for the northeast, more cold weather there. There's another low that's behind it, so unsettled weather for the southeast U.S., much of the eastern half of the country. A big trough out there over the northeast Pacific, but we're not going to concern ourselves too much with that. Out 10 days, you got another trough coming out into the plain states, going negative tilt as it does. Not very powerful, but we will watch that. For us, it's a dry northwesterly flow, and temperatures, probably pretty close to seasonal averages. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 28th of the month. The mean's about 1/3 of an inch. European ensemble, the mean's about 1/3 of an inch. Pretty consistent on the models here. Most of that rain comes from this system coming through tonight and early tomorrow. Temperatures off the national blend of models, well, it's March. The trend ultimately is going to be up. And for much of next week and out there toward the following weekend and beyond, highs are going to get back in the 80s. It's going to feel more like spring. We're not going to stay in the 50s all through the rest of the month. That just wasn't a realistic possibility. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here on Monday morning, but of course, updates before that if necessary. And I'm sure we'll come back and give a severe weather update for tomorrow. I want to talk about something here just real quick. We're going to have more ways for you guys to help support this channel coming in the near future. Right now, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I've got a monitor with a big line going down the middle of it. It's been quite a year. It's been an interesting 12, 13, 14 months. And we have had quite a few hardships here at Studio A and Studio B. And so I'm hoping that you guys can continue to help support this channel. groffshow@gmail.com is our PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal, or you can click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. But soon, we're also going to launch our Patreon page. And over there, well, we'll post all of our daily videos. We'll have some exclusive content, including weekend videos, as well as some behind-the-scenes stuff and just random things. We're going to, just put up other stuff too, weather-related and not weather-related. And one other thing we're going to put up over there on our Patreon page. I'll tease this now. So roughly a year ago, I told you guys, and we've been, as mentioned, kind of in a tough spot here for the last year or so, and there was a specific reason for that, and I told you guys at some point I would give you the whole story and talk to you all about it, and that we'll put that over there on the Patreon when we launch that, and that will be in the very near future. So there's lots to look forward to. But if you don't want to do the Patreon, that's fine too. But I mean, we really do look forward to seeing you guys over there. And yes, we're still going to continue to do the videos here on YouTube and all that, of course. And whenever there's severe weather, those videos will be available to everyone. But if you want to just support us over there, there'll be a couple of tiers you can help us out for a few bucks a month. And that's all we're really asking for. All right. So just thought I would let you know that is something that's coming in the fairly near future. All right. Otherwise, if you guys enjoy these videos, you want to help us out any other way, you can just watch, you can click, you can like, subscribe, share. That notification bell is down there, so you can click on that so that whenever a brand new video is posted, you'll get the notification. And also want to mention the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona Weather Discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of, where is it at? There it is, sweetchildaz.com.org, and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle, check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything that is Michelle related. It is all linked up down in the description. And there's probably some Adriana related stuff down there too. All right. Also, our streaming station available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with that. Give that a look. Give that a listen. You won't be disappointed. Or maybe you will. I don't know. It's the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear. So I want you to go and check that out too. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support. It is so greatly appreciated. There I am. Please be safe. And you guys have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.